Welcome to Toffee TV. We've got the news that Sam Allardyce has been sacked. Let's just say he's been sacked.
He's been sacked. That's it.
I'm here with Sarah, helping from the Blue Room to react to this news. He's been to see Farhad Mashiri. Farhad has given him the bad news and a big fat check though to go with it. How do we look back at? Well, first of all, I mean, just your first response to Sam Allardyce losing his job.
It sounds awful, but I'm delighted. It's especially when it's like losing his job, but like you said, he's got a handsome payout, hasn't he? I'm sure he's going to be sound off in Benidorm or wherever he's off to on his jollies with his fat 6 million, whatever it is. It's an awful lot of money, isn't it? Nice little payoff for him. So it's the news we've been waiting for what's felt like an eternity, honestly, hasn't it? You know, it's just it's been lingering over us and looming over us, and the media and everything of the fans are ungrateful, he should stay, he needs more time, and no, I am delighted / depleted, just pure emotional stress. I'm drained. That's it, yeah.
I think for me, this is just what I expected to happen. When he came in, I was like, fine, right, if this is who you want in the short term, let's have him to the end of the season. Let's get it safe, and let's just finish the best possible we can. I don't think we finished the best we can. I think we could have done better. I think we could have finished in 7th place.
I think we should have done.
We threw away games like Watford away and like Burnley away, and that's where the frustration for me came in about Sam Allardyce, is that he did the bare minimum. He's very good at what he does, and he done that, but he wasn't willing to push on, and that was evident on the final day of the season against West Ham, when he could have made decisions that made us more attacking, more entertaining, whatever, on the last day of the season, but he never. And I think that's where his shortcomings show up, is that he got us effectively to probably as far as he could go. And the job, to be fair, is too big for him in terms of longevity. I don't think he's got. I think it's going to take a young, energetic manager to come in and get us anywhere near where we want to be 4 or 5 years. So therefore, I don't think he was the man. So I'll thank him for what he's done, and that's it. He's done the job. He's going to be rewarded handsomely for that, and that's it. He's done the job.
This is exactly it, isn't it? You know, we wanted, when he was appointed, certainly for myself and yourself as well, and a lot of Evertonians didn't want him anywhere near our club at first. You know. But it got to the point where we needed someone to come in and ensure that we didn't get relegated, and that's what he came in to do, and that's what he's done. And you know, fair play to him. Cheers, Sam, for that. You know, you steadied the ship and everything like that. And it's always felt like this time was going to come. But the reason the relief is there is because as time started to go on, and things that certainly were coming out of his mouth, and maybe from the club as well, we all started to, well, I can't speak for everyone, but for myself, I started to actually get a little bit panicky that is he still going to be here? And I'm telling you, I could not cope with sitting through another season of that. Well,
let's just go back to the beginning, right? When he came in, the decision to bring Sam Allardyce in was made after we were beaten by Southampton, right? We were beaten 4-1 by Southampton. We were complete disaster. We'd been beaten by Atalanta 5-1 on the Thursday night. We were a complete mess from top to bottom. After the Southampton game, we were 12th. We were basically 2 points above the relegation zone. So when he came in, and obviously we beat West Ham 4-0, David Unsworth's last game, that propelled us to 13th. We had 15 points, which was five clear of West Ham on that night. But you know, the likes of Southampton were above us, and you know, they were above us in the league table at that point. Now Southampton survived relegation by effectively beating the team that they relegated. It was like a playoff match, wasn't it?
Yeah,
effectively,
it was.
You know, and they won it. They survived by 3 points. I would not have wanted to be in that situation. So for me, in terms of, you know, Southampton waited. They brought Mark Hughes in quite late on. He just about kept them up. We decided to go early for the sake of just get through this. We can't afford to go down. We've got things like stadiums on the horizon. We have to stay up. Yeah. Other teams that night, other teams after we'd beaten West Ham that were above us were Newcastle, you know, Southampton, Brighton, Leicester, Watford. Now we've managed to finish above all those teams.
Yeah. Get
to 8th place. When he came in, we had 4 wins. One of them being obviously the game against West Ham the night he came in. 3 draws, 7 defeats. We were 7 defeats. We were minus 11. We finished the season with 13 wins, 10 draws, 15 defeats, and minus 14. So we were still in the minus category in terms of goals. But obviously he had more games and the team was pretty poor. But he got us, you know, up to 49 points.
Yeah. So
he did his job. You know, he got us 9 wins, which is what. You know, I think I worked it out at the time, and I think it was like we had to get a 1 in 3 win ratio, which is effectively what we've done. We've got a 1 in 3. Now, at the time, I didn't. After the Southampton game, I didn't know whether we could get a 1 in 3. I really didn't. You know, but effectively, we were safe in February after the Newcastle game, after the Crystal Palace game. Sorry. So, I think from our point of view as fans, we just wanted him to be a little bit more proactive at times and say take us forward. But from his point of view, he was like, no, I'm doing the job. I'm going to get you 1 win in 3.
Yeah.
He probably thinks I can take you on, but as fans, we're sitting here going, well, if that's your mindset, win 1 and 3, what's your mindset going to be next season if you were given the job? Are you going to continue with that 1 and 3? Get, you know, do the bare minimum to get you know, 7th or 8th or whatever, or do you want to actually take this team on? And there was no evidence that he could take the team on. Even that last game of the season, that's all the evidence you needed. Playing 5 defenders, 3 midfielders in the middle of the park who've got no creativity. And yes, he played 2 up front, but
well, you hook one of your strikers and you're 2-0 down as well. It just sums up Allardyce, doesn't it? And for me, it doesn't make sense in any way, shape or form for him to just play it safe. You know, the man had always managed, he did well with a poor-ish Bolton side and kind of, he got them into Europe and did well with them. Then it's always been like your West Ham to keep them up, Newcastle, jobs like that. And obviously disgraced England manager as well. That didn't go as planned. So this was a real opportunity for him to go, okay, I've got the job at Everton Football Club. Now, this is a man who's been around the game for most of his life. He knows what Everton's about, and he knows what the fans expect. He knows the history, the rich heritage of this club. It's a privilege for him to have been given the opportunity, by default, if you like, because we got into this mess that we didn't see coming. He should have gone, I'm going to really do everything that I can. I've got an 18-month contract. I'm going to do everything that I can to give this board and give these fans and these players the belief and the desire to get behind me and buy into what I'm trying to do here and play for me and all this. But he just didn't, and that's where the anger's come from. And that's why I think it gets misconstrued in the media that the fans have been, you know, treated him unjustly and that he's been this victim. It's not like that. He's insulted us time and time again, and he's shown this small mentality. He's instilling, every second he was there, he was instilling like a negative mentality into the club, and you could see that.
And I think that there was times like when we got beat at Burnley and fans were having a go, and he was just like smirking, making a laugh of it. I think the other thing, you know, there's numerous issues with this. I think you know, he's done the job, as I said. I think the other side of it is the likes of the younger players, the likes of Ademola Lookman, go pushing him out on loan, saying he needed a loan. Ademola Lookman was like, well, I want to go on loan because I'm not getting games. Wants to go to Germany to play in a team that's trying to get into the Champions League. They didn't get in the Champions League ultimately, but he would do it trying. They had a good run in the Europa League. They were a good side. They're in a top division. He wanted to test himself. He didn't want to go to Derby County and play in the Championship, a well-trodden path where players like him just go missing because what their style they've got and their class is just is not used effectively.
Definitely.
For me, someone like Adam Lookman could be the next sort of Raheem Sterling kind of player,
absolutely
but
agree.
he'll end up being, you know, a journeyman nothing footballer if people like Allardyce push him down into these routes. And I think Lookman's gone to Germany, done in the long term. Eventually, he's done well because he's been given time.
Yeah,
they've afforded him time. Whereas you look at the players even that we've kept, the likes of Lassage, who's in 1 week, out the next, you know, and then goes missing for a month or two. You know, even the last couple of games, he's played the last couple of games and then wasn't even on the bench.
Oh, it's just
baffling
sense.
Those things. You've got to nurture young talent. Listen, he's kept Tom Davies about the team. That's fair enough. We understand, you know, things like that. But you've got to nurture these relationships, and he hasn't done that.
Another one again who didn't do all that much wrong for me when he was actually played really well and just completely out the team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, for me, we've got long term problems. Short term solutions won't solve them.
Yeah.
So I think again, that's why it's important that we're looking on longer than, you know, what next season. We're looking for 3, 4, 5 years. Macheri obviously feels like there's enough stability at the club. He's looked at him probably going, well, you know what, we finished in 8th. We're you know, we shouldn't be finishing any lower than 7th really, but we finished 8th. It's a good recovery. He probably thinks there's enough in the club with the likes of Seamus Coleman and Jags and Baines being in and around, and if we can just add here and there, there's enough key players that will be all right, and without having to have someone like Sam Allardyce, where maybe the panic that hit him in November was like, and you know what, it's all of us, it hit me. I've got no problem. It's all on film. That's where it's all on film for me. You can see it. I was really, really worried because we were absolutely terrible, but he's seen with a steady hand and some experience that you can do that. But I think what's important is as well that the club have realised that that's not a path that we want to go down. Absolutely. Of just being one of those clubs, because I think you look at you've got to get decisions right. Because I think West Brom almost have proved that if you keep on getting key decisions wrong, it'll only keep you sort of going for a short time. It's all short-termism. We've got to get into long-term planning, and I think that's what the next sort of thing is. And you know, as I say, Allardyce come in, did his job. I think again one of the big problems is when he came in, he was actually, when he came in, he was quite respectful of Everton, and he sort of left his big Sam persona behind. And then he came in and he'd done, you know, we'd won a few games and got good results. And I remember him saying after one of the games, I think it might have been Chelsea, oh, we've sorted the defence now we've got to work on the attacking. And that's when the defence started to go wrong again. And it was that, I don't know, he never quite got it right. Started to rub fans up the wrong way as well. And then like you said, then it was almost like he started to enjoy rubbing fans up the wrong way, and got back into being Big Sam again.
Well, this is it. As soon as things aren't going his way, his entire persona changes, and that's when the Big Sam persona comes out. And he's been, you know, people will watch me sometimes say, "Oh, you're oversensitive to him," and you know, you're just looking for things to have a go at him with. But no, not at all. For me, he has been derogatory to this football club and its fans again and again and again. And I think if you don't have a problem with that, then, you know, I can't understand that personally. For the away support, our incredible away fans who go and spend, we're talking about kids here as well, who will spend their last pennies on out of these little jobs that they have. They'll spend all their money going to follow the team that they love. And he's saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter about the away fans kind of thing. He's repeatedly called us a small club and all these kinds of things, and that's what we as fans won't accept. If Allardyce had come in and we all believed we could have had the exact same outcome, same results, but if he'd have handled himself better, he'd have still gone.
Definitely.
But he wouldn't have had all this negativity that's come out.
Every time they lost, it was someone else's fault, and when we won, it was all on him. And that was the other thing that rubbed fans up the wrong way. He just, like, as I say, I think the media don't quite fully grasp the situation where, you know, all his mates in the media are like, what did he expect, what did he want, he did fantastically, and it's like, yeah, but it's the journey you go on, like you just said there. You don't rub your away fans up the wrong way. He said it basically. He said, not asked. He basically said it, not asked about winning away, because
there's not that many of them.
There's only 3,000 at home. We've got to win, and he did prioritise the wins at home, and you could see that. But like, remember like the Watford game when it was 0-0 with 10 minutes to go, and he took I think he took Tosin off and replaced him with Nias, and it was like the fans were like, no, go for it, these are not a good side, we can beat these. And then the next minute they score, and then I think he brought Dominic Calvert-Lewin on and went 2 up front. It was like, well, now that we're getting beat, you decided to bring 2 up front.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that at 0-0 when we had a chance of winning this game? And we nearly scraped the point, but it was like those were the decisions the week after, you know, playing Keane alongside Ashley Williams, and the team just being all over the place. It was just things like that, and them walking off being all smug. Like, fans have had to suffer through this. You know, yeah, he got his 3 away wins in the end, against 3 poor sides, but there was times like, I'll tell you what, it sounds mad, but probably one of our best performances under Sam Allardyce was in the FA Cup against Liverpool, where it was almost like the team were let go, set free, it's a cup game, lads, go and enjoy it, go and play your hearts out, and you've got the freedom. And you're thinking, listen, early on I understand why the team wasn't like that, but late on in the season, why didn't you just why didn't you have a little bit more about that?
Definitely, because that's it, you know, as soon as we'd have accumulated them points to pretty well ensure that we were going to be safe, that's when you'd look to someone who is genuinely invested and wanted to be here long term and build something of a project, if you like. That's when you'd be going, okay, you know, just as an example, it might not have been the case, but you know, let's get Davy Claassen in and see what he can do, because the club have spent an awful lot of money on him, and at the moment he's just making tea for everyone. So let's get him involved. You know, maybe Lookman again, him going out, that should never have been the case. Give some of the youngsters a chance, and Vlasic, but give them a chance in the team. You can't just throw them in for the odd game and then hook them again for a month, and it doesn't work.
Didn't
like
he actually? I think I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said about Lookman and Balassi, one cost 30 million. I've got to play the one who cost 30 million. It's like,
exactly what he said.
Why do you have to play the one who played 30? You know, and also, why didn't he back himself to say to like Lookman, listen, stay around, I'll give you game time, we'll be safe soon, because he's been through this. He knew that the mark would be 36 or something points. Why didn't he back himself enough to say, we'll get those points and I'll give you a chance in some of those games, and once we get to a place where I'm comfortable with, I'll start you every game for the sake of next season, and I'll let you have a run, and like he did with Tosin. Tosin come in, wasn't great the first few games, and we were all like, well, he's getting used to the Premier League, and then went on that little run where he scored 4 in 3 games or whatever it was. You know, he was afforded a chance to get used to the Premier League. Why wasn't someone like Ademola Lookman afforded that? You know what I mean? Because Balassi's basically been restarting his own career at Everton and hasn't done any. Okay, he scored against Man City and a couple of assists in a little run of games, but you're thinking, why couldn't you have afforded that to Lookman as well?
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, and being I'm sure in Germany, Lookman they haven't gone every time, oh, unlucky lad putting a big arm. I bet he's been like, they've said to him, you've got to work harder, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to start doing these things if you want to be a better player. Bit of tough love. Tough love isn't going, you're not playing for 3 weeks, mate.
No, exactly. That's nothing but detrimental to a player's development. And he, like we've said there, he's got the sort of signs of a young, I say young, he's still young now, but a Raheem Sterling. And he looks like he could well be the real deal. The lad's gone over to Germany, a league he's never played in. The higher end of the table as well, as you said, challenging for Champions League. He's been given a chance, and he's proved with was it something like 7 goals and assists, and he's done well. He's been smashing. Yeah, he's been smashing it up there. And you think, well, what could he have done if he'd been given that chance at Everton?
And also, when he came off the bench against Liverpool in that derby and helped set up the goal for Sigurdsson, you know, people stood up and went, who's this kid? People who hadn't seen him, people who'd only seen glimpses of him, people who were like, hadn't noticed the fact that he'd gone, his career had tailed off a little bit at Everton. People started to stand up. His performance against Limassol, you know, when he sent over the scratch, got his 2 goals, should have really got a hat-trick, or set someone up for a goal. That night he was head and shoulders better than anyone in their team. And I know their team was poor, but you go, well, look at him, he's grasping that. You use those performances and say, go and do that for me. And as someone who's building for the future, because that's what we want. You don't want it to all be about the here and now. You know, as I say, we afforded someone like Tosin that. You look at that and you just go, we're happy to just see this lad develop week in, week out. Not drop in, don't see... And that's been the frustration with someone like Vlasic as well. And I'm not saying we can have all these players in the team, but that's been the frustration. You either leave him in and tolerate some poor performances so he gets experience, or you don't have it, or he doesn't get anything in it, or you go, you only do 23 to the end of the season. These are the things that I think, did he back himself to make this Everton team better? Because if he had, he would have been able to say, well, we'll be all right with Lookman. I think that's where he shot himself.
Had we had Lookman, you know, have a run of games in the team, and we were all shocked, weren't we? When he went out on loan, we were all gutted because we've been crying out. A lot of us have been crying out for him to be being played throughout the season. You just think it was so tight in the end on missing out on 7th, and had we had Lookman in, had that bit of attack in mind, his goals, it was like things like drawing at home. We didn't beat West Brom this season. There's too many games where those points, it was there for the taking.
Well, he's just for Lookman, he was an X-factor player, and we haven't got enough of those players, and we've seen how much Walcott has helped the side since he came into it, and having those players that cause trouble with pace. And that's why having someone like a Lookman on the bench, I mean, we've had Cuco Martino on the bench for every game for the last 12 games. It's absolutely pointless. You know, why not have a play? We've had players on the bench who are, you know, they're not players who can change games. Maybe Nias is the only one. The players who are just steady. You want someone like that who can go on there and do something. Even Vlasic, you bring a Vlasic on, what's he really going to do? He's neat and tidy, but he hasn't got a spark of genius in him. And someone like Lookman has. And listen, there'll be people who are watching this now going, I think you're going overboard about Lookman. In hindsight, you know, towards the end of the season, he looked good, but I still think decisions like that have cost them that relationship with the fans.
Definitely.
And I think ultimately that's why he's getting the sack. It's the relationship with the fans, not his results. And that's what the media don't understand. If you, as a fan, you need a manager you can believe in, you can back, and you can love, because a lot of our fans have been brought up with the manager is the most important person at the club, because we haven't had massive stars, and when we do have massive stars, we don't seem to love them. No, we just don't seem to love. Because we fear losing them. That's why people like.
That's exactly.
That's why people like Lukaku.
That's exactly.
Were never loved. No one dared love him because no one wanted.
Well, like, you're gonna leave.
Because you're gonna leave. So no one dares love our place. So our manager, we've had for a while. Our manager's our most important person. So if you can't love your manager, that's why everyone sort of fell in love with Roberto Martinez, and how hard it was when he left. You want to love that person, but he's not lovable. So
he's not lovable at all, and unfortunately it is ultimately his attitude, and as you said, it wasn't the results. He lost the fans. Once you lose the fans, you're done. Koeman, I think, was the same. He was really shocked. I think maybe he came to Everton initially as a stepping stone to do well at Everton and get the Barcelona job. And I don't think he thought, even when we were in free fall and we were totally shite, I still think even then he didn't think he'd get sacked. But the fans, you lose Evertonians and you're done. I think it's the same at most clubs now, because the fans are, and I hate this term, I hate it, but the customers, and I really do hate that. But if without the fans, you haven't got a business, if you like, and you can't. It was the nail in the coffin, wasn't it, on Sunday? I think it'd been coming for a while. The last few games, the fans were going to make it known that he wasn't wanted by us, and ultimately that's what's got him out the door. That's
it. He's gone. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Did you want to keep him? Because I know there are people out there who wanted to keep him. If you wanted to keep him, where do you think he could have taken us long term? Because I think that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a long term man who can put a plan in place. And who do you want? That's the ultimate question now. Who do you want to take Everton Football Club forward? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Big thanks to Sarah for coming in and sharing the responsibility of breaking this news.
My pleasure, Ped. My absolute pleasure.
She's so happy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.